Here's something that's really interesting, and it's something that most people are unaware of, but you ought to be aware of it because we've talked about things like it for a long while. So we're just going to create this basis of understanding, and then everything's just going to click into place for you. Most of this you could speak clearly to us, but there's a missing piece for you that you're about to feel break loose. So we all know about law of attraction, and you get it, that wherever you've got your radio dial set, that's what's going to come back to you. So if you've got it in your head for whatever reason, probably from validation from other people, that they're not really receptive to you, as you notice that they're not, then they're not, and as they're not, you notice that they're not, and then they're not, and then you notice that they're not, and then they're not. So it's like you create the scenario, different places, different faces, but the same sort of experience keeps occurring. So law of attraction is the basis of all things. We've established that. And what you're feeling and what you're thinking is what you keep getting more of. And so you want to figure out how to break that cycle. So because law of attraction only gives you things that are in the vicinity of where you are, it's logical that once you've decided, as you spoke rather clearly, that people are sort of put off by you, then those are the people that you most have access to. So let's just say that people are running around and they're on all different vibrational wavelengths. And we're going to make a really powerful statement here that we've not made before, but it really is amplified by this conversation that we're having. Where you are vibrationally is so where you are, vibrationally is so where you are, that your most satisfying communication is with other people that are right there where you are. So let's say that law of attraction could really mess up and that you could be in this high-flying, really good vibrational vortexual place, and you could end up at one of those hostels with someone who's really in a... Now, law of attraction can't give you that, but let's say it did. Or let's say that it's something even close to that. So you're here and they're here. What's happening is, at unconscious levels, they are doing everything in their power in their quest to communicate, to get you to come to where they are. Because there's no communication, there's no experience. And so, without meaning to, they would like you to be there, but it's happening even on unconscious levels. And if you're not really caring about how you feel, you'll go there easily. And when you go there, it's not their disapproval of you that you're feeling. It's your lack of resonance with who you really are that you're feeling. Did you get that? Oh. People have been saying things for a while like, well, they're just trying to bring you down to their level. Well, they are. So they see someone like you. You look as if your appearance is one, and we're not just talking about the beauty of who you are physically. We're talking about your vibrational appearance. You have knowledge. You have eagerness. You have a desire to fulfill your life experience. You are radiating. We saw you back there from the moment that the gathering began, and we're just waiting for the resistance to be at its softest ebb before we bring you forward. In other words, you are unmistakable. You are radiating, and you are a pain in the whatever to people who aren't there, who want to be there. In other words, what bothers them about you is that you live what they want to live, and they don't know what to do about it. So they offer the vibration of where they are, and at unconscious levels really are wanting you to join them there. And because you are compliant with that, when you join them there, then it's your disconnection is too strong a word, but it's the putting the bushel over the light of who you are that makes you feel that discomfort. It's not their approval or disapproval that you have ever been seeking. It's your own alignment. So the question that we're hearing from you is, Abraham, how can I consistently, because you say you're often there and you are, how can I consistently feel all that I am and be all that I am? Because I want, and this is what you want, this is the question that we heard from you, regardless of the words that you spoke. I want to travel for 3 months with my backpack, and I want to be so tuned into source that everywhere I rendezvous, I'm the one that brings them up.
Yeah.
I want to bring them up rather than them bring me down.
And be stable.
And the way you do it is first by understanding the way these laws work. Next, by understanding that you have 2 vibrational vantage points, which you do. Next, by understanding that the way you feel is your indicator of how you're doing. And next, by just having enough exposure to enough people that eventually, and it happens frequently anyway, you feel yourself as the one who uplifted, rather than as someone who was diminished by someone else's more dominant vibration. Those are incorrect words, because there is not a more dominant vibration, there's a matching vibration. In other words, they couldn't bring you down if you didn't have a proclivity to go there. And the reason that you have a proclivity to go there is just out of habit of going there.
Yeah.
You've done that all your life. Everyone has. It's just never bothered you like it bothers you now, because you've tasted the sweetness of the other. In other words, your standards are now higher. You're not willing to go there. Oh, and then there's other stuff. They talk drivel. They talk about unimportant things. They're just going on about things that are so not important. In other words, there's so many more meaningful things that you could be talking about than the things that most people are talking about, because they're not knowing what you're knowing. So when you relax and acknowledge that they're all where they are, and it's perfect where they are, and they're living the life that they're living, and you are in complete rapturous adoration of whatever it is that they are living, because it's all contributing to what you're putting into your vortex, then it all gets soft, and you find yourself just loving them all, even if they're not loving you. And that's where freedom really breaks loose for you. Freedom of resistance, which is the only freedom that there ever is freedom from resistance. When you're able to love someone who isn't loving you, then they must come to your level if there is to be an interaction. Which means if you're steadily here, they can't show up at the same hostel with you, because one who's connected to this stream, one who's in this vibrational place, is more powerful than millions who are not, you see. So now, if you were just coming to the chair now and you were wanting to have this conversation, how would it sound now? I like being who I am, and often I am, and I want to be who I really am more often. And how would I know the sweetness of being who I am if I never had a moment of not being who I am? How would I know? How could I discern? And so isn't it all good? And why do I want to attract people on my wavelength? We're going to answer it for you. Because it's evidence of my alignment, which is what I really want. Let's get that in the proper perspective, because some might say, I want to attract people on my wavelength because it feels better when it happens. But I want to attract people on my wavelength because I want to be on my wavelength. That's why. It's my wavelength that is the operative word here, not the attraction of others that confirm it and compound it and enhance it and affirm it. I want to be on my wavelength because nothing else is satisfactory to me. Nothing else is tolerable to me. I don't want to be in a moment out here on the leading edge without my inner being there. I want to be tuned into who I am so that when they show up at the party, they're tuned into who they are, because that's the party I want to go to. Right? Right. We're glad you're all in agreement. And have you noticed that as you sit and listen to us ramble on and on and on, that in your willingness to focus where we are, as you listen to what we say, you're feeling the resonance of this knowledge because you already hold it. It is the larger part of what you know. And as you come into alignment with what you really know, that's what this is all about, just coming into alignment with what you know. So here's what we know about you. You are source energy in physical bodies, and you came here deliberately intending to sift through contrast, to put more things in the vortex because it's fun to line up with the things you put in there. So what do you think about today? You felt things shift, didn't you? You are the creator of your own reality, and your own reality is a perceptual thing. And you perceive through your emotions, whether you admit it or not. You are the creator of your emotional state of being right here and now. And you have more leeway and more latitude and more control and more power than you have ever applied prior to this conversation. It is our powerful expectation that you will move forward in the days and weeks and months and years that are before you with this new understanding of who you are, with this new understanding that you can take an emotional journey right now if you want to, and that when you do, you have won your race, you have won your battle, you have accomplished everything that you're wanting, you have fulfilled your reason for being. In other words, it has never been the complicated thing that you've made it out to be in your comparison of your experience against the experiences of others that you are comparing yourself to. So as you move forward and you accept that what you've always been reaching for is the emotional control that you now have accomplished in this time that we've been together, we think that our determination to bring you round to our way of thinking is paid off, because you have come around to our way of thinking. You know that it's an emotional journey, and you believe that you have control of your emotions. And therefore, we want to pronounce to you that since you now have control over your emotional moments, you have control over every other manifestation. And if you will always keep your horse before your cart in that way, if you will always understand that it's the vortex work first, it's the emotional work first, it's the emotional quest first, it's the alignment with who you are, that you're going to have so many delicious, vivid moments and realizations and revelations as you allow Source, this oneness that we were talking about, to revel in the moment-to-moment activities and conversations and thought processes that you are upon. In other words, when you allow, through the simple work that you have figured out here today, alignment with that high-flying energy that is the source within you, so that you allow that full view of source in the conversation that you're having with your lover, in the conversation that you're having with your children or your employer or your employees or the stranger that you're meeting on the street. When you allow the fullness of who you are to be present within you, every moment of your life will be a sweet realization and revelation and manifestation of all that you are. This world is perfect as it is, and becoming sweeter every day. And your capacity to rendezvous with the sweetest parts of it is extreme. But when you rendezvous with something that is less than sweet, it's wonderful too. Because in that, there is expansion. So your work is to figure out how to take the sweetness of all of it and not freak out. It's that freaking out thing you do when you're standing in the absence of something you want that holds you for longer periods of time in the absence of something you want. And we're here to tell you that no matter what, the presence of what you really want is available to you right here, right now, no matter how it looks to you or anybody else. We have enjoyed this interaction immensely. It is delicious to come together with those like you out here on the leading edge, ready and willing and wanting so to become perfectly aligned with the fullness of who you are. Be easy about it and take from this gathering our strongest encouragement, which is finding ways to make such peace with where you are that what you really want must reveal itself to you immediately. There is great love here for you. And as always, we remain in the vortex. Yes. So good. Thanks for coming, you guys. Bye. So good.